Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm going to start off by saying thank you for agreeing to participate in this interview. Basically, throughout this process, I'll be asking you a series of questions about your experiences as a middle adult, and afterwards, I will be comparing your answers to the information in our own textbook on typical development. So, I'm going to start off by saying that middle adulthood is usually classified as 40 to 65 years old. So, how old are you?
I'm 46.
Okay. Throughout this interview, we'll be going over the physical, cognitive, and psychosocial development. We're going to start out with physical development. Most people in middle adulthood start to notice their vision is declining, so they have trouble seeing up close and they lose their night vision. Weight gain is also common. Even though you don't change your diet, your metabolism slows, so it's very common to see that, as well as hearing loss, which is experienced by 14% of midlife adults, according to the OER comments. So, my question for you is, what are the visible signs of aging that you have noticed that are happening at this time in your life?
Well, I do notice the weight gain, or at least it's harder to lose weight. And as far as my eyesight is still the same. Hearing, sometimes I can't distinguish sounds, so if it's echoey, I can't hear what they're saying, but I can hear them talking. Other than that, I notice that my hair is graying, and I have to color my hair more often than I used to. And my skin, like on my hands, is a little looser than it was before. Those are some of the signs I've noticed.
Okay. Does your family have hereditary heart problems, cancer, hypertension, or diabetes?
My family has hypertension. It runs on both sides of my family.
And are you aware of the signs and symptoms?
Yes.
Could you please list what they are?
Yeah, hypertension. Some of the symptoms are unexplained headaches and prolonged headaches, and another one is a shortness of breath. But the nice thing about that is it's easy to diagnose because you can just take your blood pressure and see where you are.
That's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will be moving on to cognitive development. Oftentimes, you will experience memory loss, problems remembering short-term or long-term, and you may see that you're gaining wisdom. So, my question for you, since entering this stage of life, have you noticed any cognitive or intellectual decline in how you make decisions or remembering things?
Yes, on remembering things, it's harder to remember things that happened long, long ago. Or I remember them differently, I'm told, than I used to remember them. My short-term memory, sometimes I will, like if I'm having a conversation with someone and the next day I am having another conversation with that same person and I may have already told them, but then I remember that I told them, but they have to trigger my memory for that. At this point, I still remember. And as far as decision making, I think I'm probably better at that than I was before I entered the stage of life.
Would you say you're more wise?
Yeah, I think so. I think things through more thoroughly than I did in the past, and I'm more patient.
All right. So we're going to move on to the psychosocial development. At this point in your life, relationships are very important. Family relationships, adjusting to growing children, adjusting to your spouse, and changes in your relationship. Basically, relationships with your work friends, social friends. It's all about, how you set up your relationship and comparing it to the past. So, how have your relationships changed since entering this stage of life?
Well, my existing relationships, for example, with my kids, they're older now, so it's not so much parenting, and maybe I'm still giving advice, but we're more on the friendship level than authoritative level. And for my spouse, we've been married 21 years now, so we are friends, but instead of the, passion, maybe we're more like family members. And we know we'll always be there for each other, so that's a little deeper than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as my work friends, I think you're just a little more careful with who your friends are, especially in a work environment. You're going to be friends with people who maybe are going to serve you well than the ones that won't serve you well.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a lot more selective with your friendships outside of family.
Okay. And I have a question about your work life. In this stage of your life, you seek meaningful and steady work. Would you say you have that?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
Would you say that you have meaningful and steady work?
Oh, yes. Yes. I do have meaningful and steady work.
And what is your career?
I am a data analyst, and I work on applications.
Okay. Are you comfortable and content with your career at this time?
Yes, I am.
Why or why not?
Well, because I have 3 children. I am able to go to their events and to be a mother, and to devote a lot of time with them that I would like to be able to do. So when I chose to not really advance my career, it was so that I could be a better mother. So I think I kind of picked balance over being the most successful worker that I could be.
Okay, and that answers the next question about advancing your career.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I could see when my children are grown that I would want to advance my career. I would have more time.
Okay. And, okay, so another part of your psychosocial development is oftentimes people talk about the midlife crisis, which basically explained is when people reach a certain point of life, they realize, well, I'm running out of time. They self-analyze their choices and success, and usually it leads to drastic or unexpected changes. Research says most people don't experience a midlife crisis. Only about 23% do. That is according to the book, OER Commons. So my question is, what lifestyle choices have had a strong impact on your health status?
Well, I think I had gained weight with my children, and it's hard to get off, and the older I get, the more difficult it becomes. That's a negative. Positively, I have always been an exerciser, and I believe because of that is why I don't have hypertension while my siblings all do.
And if you could change your habits from the past, what lifestyle choices would you change?
I probably would have been more in control of my weight.
And my last question for you, do you predict you will, or have you already experienced a midlife crisis?
I don't think I'll have a midlife crisis. I think I'm pretty content in my life, and I wouldn't really want to change anything at this point. So I don't think I fall within the 23%.
That's always
we'll
good.
See.
And that completes the interview. Once again, thank you for participating in this interview. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to answer these questions.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.